Alright, so we are up here at flight level 240. We're heading out to Colorado.
Southwest 2701.
And we're popping up over some weather that's coming over the mountains. And we thought that this would be the perfect time to show you guys the performance of Starlink.
Welcome to our YouTube channel, Elevate.
We're currently running it on 28 volt ship power. I can show you here, we've got Starlink outlet. So we've got the Starlink outlet in the back, we've got the Starlink plugged into that, and we thought, okay, let's use our maximum speed, which in this airplane is about 200 knots true. We've got a 24 knot headwind right now, so our ground speed's only 180 knots. But we have tried this up to 260 knots because of a tailwind. And it does cut out at 260. I think it cut out at like when the ground speed was indicating 255. But then it did come back when the ground speed was indicating like 240. And then it stayed on up to about 250 or so. So how they advertise it is correct. But currently you do need to be on that $250 per month plan. In order for it to work at speeds up to 260 knots. There's two plans underneath that you can look into, and supposedly the one plan underneath it that's 165 will allow 260 knots, I think, next month. I tried it now and it doesn't work. Big airliner. I don't know if that camera caught it, but there's a big airliner underneath us.
Yeah, 704.
So anyways, let's show you guys how well the Starlink's performing. So far, it's been flawless.
Yeah, 704.
The download speed,
Direct to Suds, United 704.
141 megabits per second.
Actually, United
Upload,
704. Let's go
22.5. Let's try it again.
Direct DAT me, United 704.
704.
Somehow we're getting signal at flight level 240.
Sure, United 704.
And we notice that these speeds are pretty consistent, whether we're at 240 or 200 or even 10,000 feet, 5,000 feet, they're pretty darn consistent. Sometimes between satellites, if you're linking like from one to the next, it can drop down to like 70 for a minute or less, but then it pops right back up once it gets a really good connection with the next satellite. So as you can see, excellent internet connectivity up here. You can FaceTime audio, you can FaceTime video, it's incredible.
It also helps with weather.
What's that?
Weather, so you can get weather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, weather on the iPad is crucial for these higher altitude flights especially. Hopefully this video helped you decide how to install, how to power it, and any questions, put in the comments below. We'd be glad to answer those questions for you. There's several people on the Cirrus Forums and on the Cirrus Facebook groups that have helped tremendously. We'll share links to share that experience with you.
46 Tango Romeo.
46 Tango Romeo.
46 Tango Romeo, Denver Center 119.85.
119.85. 46 Tango Romeo. Good day.
So stay tuned if you want to see two different mounts installed. We tried a couple different options, and the second option worked out pretty slick. Good morning. It's super early, maybe 4:30 right now. We're about to take off and head out to Colorado. So we've got some stuff that I got to load up, but before I do, I just want to show you our rig. So we've got Starlink in this plane now, and we're using this suction cup mount. And we're finding out that when that glass gets cold, the suction cups give way. So, and that's going to happen today. We're going to climb up to about 16,000 feet. So I made this little, this is tacky, but it hopefully should work here. Made this support that puts just a little bit of pressure on the mount itself. And you can see that if I raise it up, the mount actually has give in it. So we're not pressing against the plexiglass, we're simply only pressing against the mount. and it's got a little notch in it. So it should stay during the flight. So I'm gonna pack some bags around this bottom here to make sure that the bottom doesn't shift, and we should be okay. Those suction cups, they will release from that plexiglass because of the temperature change. It worked out just fine with that stick holding it, but your best bet, look at that, a Cirrus on short final. Coming to Naples, that's cool. Good timing. So your best bet is cirrusmounts.com. So I'm going to show you how to take one of these Cirrus mounts that's designed for a G5, 6, or 7 with the factory cargo net. I'm going to show you how to retrofit that into a G1 through 3. Cirrusmounts.com has a Starlink mount for Gen 1 through 3, but personal preference, I don't like how that mounts to the top of the interior of the airplane. So I'm going to show you what I did to get the original 3-point mount of the G5 through 7 to work in a G3. And you can get it to work in a G1, 2, or 3, or in a G5, 6, or 7 that didn't come with that factory cargo net kit. So here, I'll show you how to do that. Here's a 2019 G6. That's the bracket. Top bracket. So from the factory, they put a decent sized notch in that panel just for easier fitment. But when you retrofit, you've got the option to slide it through that bulkhead panel instead of notching it like this. In a G5, 6, and 7, you don't have to do all this, but in a G1, 2, and 3, in order to get this Starlink mount to work, which in our opinion so far it is the best one out there, super lightweight, link will be provided below. These guys are easy. This is part of the OEM luggage netting kit, and these are brackets for the luggage nets. We're not going to use them for luggage nets. We're going to use them to mount the 2 lower arms of the Starlink mount. And then the upper portion requires this. So in a G5, 6, and 7, with the luggage netting option in the rear, you get automatically this bracket, this bracket, this bracket. I had a buddy who's got a G6 who doesn't ever use the luggage netting. I don't know of anyone that uses that luggage netting. So there might be some guys that are willing to part with it. I got from him 1, 2, 3 pieces. These guys are super easy. This is not at all. You cannot, on a G1, 2, or 3, mount this to the bulkhead because of the parachute canopy being right here. So I had to come up with a creative solution to make this a legal bolt-on, and came up with something that is working perfect. Super strong. It feels just as strong as if it was mounted to the bulkhead. So we've got 2-inch wide, 1/8-inch thick aluminum, 15 inches from point to point. It's a 45-degree angle, 45-degree angle. So from point to point, 15 inches. From short point to short point is 11 inches exactly. Then drill yourself a hole, measure down 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, with an 11 1/8-inch spread. Center to center, 11 1/8. Drill a 1/2-inch hole, 1/2-inch hole. The reason it has to be such a big hole is you want to keep the factory nut on the factory stud for the seatbelt bracket. That way you're not tampering with anything. And you're simply mounting this then and clamping it with the stud, the factory stud. So we've got a large washer here with a 1/2-inch opening, then 2 small washers with a 3/8-inch opening, and then self-locking nut on that factory male stud. It is a nice solid mount for this bracket. Then simply put this bracket, I did a 1/16 of an inch gap between the bottom of it and the bracket itself, and that's aligning perfectly with the mount. So I recommend that 16th. I should not gap, but like a step basically from here to here is a 16th. It fits the mount perfectly. So now we just need to take our Alcantara bulkhead cover and create a notch in it for that bracket to slide right in there. So that's what we're gonna do next. It's all marked out. Now I'm gonna carefully take a fine tool and penetrate it from this side. It's a little nerve-wracking because this is nice and wrapped. But worst that could happen is if I screw it up, I can rewrap it. So I'm going to give it a whirl. If you're using the U-Green or the Anchor version of the U-Green, I don't remember the model number off the top of my head, but I'll post it in the link in the video. I'll actually post both of them because this is a cheaper version of the Anchor and it works pretty well. There's a little holster so you can see how it gets clamped between the bracket and the Starlink mount and spans the entire width, and then they pop right in there into this holster. Now you do on the U-Green at least, I'm not sure on the Anchor, because the body I believe is identical on the Anchor. You do have to pull off this bottom rubber piece in order for it to slide in. But that's a great option in case you're not doing ship power.
Yeah, I got it. I got a perfect shot actually.
Sweet. Yeah, he keeps doing touch and go with it and he's practicing. It's good
Cool.
for it. So after several flights of using both battery and then ship power, we found that battery is a good like short-term solution, temporary solution, but not a good long-term solution. A good long-term solution is to have your A&P IA install that cigarette lighter, that dedicated 28-volt socket in the back. You'll see where we located it. It worked out perfect from a look standpoint, from an install standpoint, from an access standpoint. We analyzed every possible spot in the cargo area, and that is a perfect spot for it. So highly recommend that. No regrets at all. You could power cycle your Starlink mid-flight. If there's anything that goes wrong with the Starlink that needs a power cycle, you're good from the pilot seat. You can just pop the breaker, wait 30 seconds, pop it back in, and then the Starlink will reboot and reconnect to the satellites. If you've got it in the back and you've got a battery connected to it, what if that battery catches on fire? What if something happens where the battery stops working, etc.? So it's just not a good long-term solution. The batteries are great for backpacking, hiking, whatever. The suction cup mounts are great for your car, especially driving in the mountains where you don't have cell service. So keep that in mind as you're watching the rest of the video. Say hi, Dolly. All right, we've got the carpet reinstalled and the Alcantara is reinstalled. And you can see it turned out pretty good. Right behind the pilot rear seat in this side panel, just inside the luggage compartment door, proved to be a phenomenal spot to install that 28-volt cigarette lighter. You don't have to penetrate the bulkhead. It's less wire to run. It's easy to access from inside the door. And then all of that cable can just be spooled up and hidden right inside this Alcantara piece. So using the post mount that comes with the Starlink Mini, slide that post mount on there. There's your finished bracket installed. Seat belts go up here once the seats are in, so everything clears nicely. Super robust. It doesn't flex at all. Super lightweight. Very happy with it. And it takes a total of 1 minute to install on the 3 OEM brackets. So now take your Starlink, slide it in place, and let it drop down right there. Even without the screw, the holding screw, it's nice and robust. Let's put this in. should shorten this. Yeah, why not, right? Let's look at how long I should make this quick. Cut this down. Because really, all we need is this to penetrate just a little bit into there. We just need to penetrate maybe 1/4 of an inch. So let's make it total of 1/2 inch long. The stud is modified. It's 1/2 inch long. Let's reinstall it. Let's see how this goes. I love that fit. It is super solid. It's not going to go anywhere, but it still is nice to put this in, just in case. There. Starlink install complete. We got our ship power, 28 volts. Our wire adapter, that supports anywhere between 12 and 48 volts, I believe. And we're right in the middle of that range. So it's nice and safe. This runs right through here into this bulkhead luggage area Alcantara headliner. And then it's spooled up right here. And we've got a Velcro strap holding just the right amount of slack to run up to the Starlink. All right, so Dave, the owner, was kind enough to hook us up with a prototype, and now we can show you what his current product looks like. All right, let's look at this bracket for the Starlink to actually mount to. It's got it all sealed. That's nice. Okay, yeah, and he gave me a heads up that it looks a little smoother now, and it does. I don't know if you remember the other one. You could like see this texturizing of a 3D printer. That was everywhere on the other one. This one's a little bit smoother. It just looks a little bit more professional, so that's nice. And it's the exact same unit. It's just printed at a higher quality, so you can do a plug and play with your other if you have one of the first prototypes. Sorry, we're right in front of Naples Airport. Naples Airport is right there. So when you're coming in on runway 5, you'll see a short final right here, which is fun coming in. Okay, here's a couple of fasteners. I did find some of these, you might want to chop them with a 4-inch grinder just to make it where you don't have to turn so much. This is a lot nicer. So these are our 2 legs, and that looks a lot nicer. Not only is it lighter, but it just looks higher quality. So yeah, I like it. Oh, now this we're not currently using, but he's still selling kit with the battery holder, which is pretty nice. This mounts right onto the horizontal arm. It looks like, again, we don't need these horizontal arms, but let's see what they look like. Okay, so these are the same. These look, I think, the same as the other ones. So really, the improvements with this kit, this 3D printing looks a little bit nicer. This 3D printing looks significantly nicer. And then what I care about is these carbon fiber arms. That's I would say roughly half the poundage, and it looks good. So thanks, Dave. We're gonna go install this. Maybe we'll run over there now and install this, and that way we're all set for tomorrow's flight.
Lene and I started flying 3.5 years ago, and a major issue was trying to find sunglasses that worked under our headsets without creating too much pressure here, without reducing the ANR effect. Because when you put your sunglasses on, if it pulls your pad out, you can instantly hear a lot of your surroundings, and then also seeing the screens. So we tried 3 or 4 different pairs.
Yeah, even the thin ones, like the Ray-Ban had really
Right.
thin frame right here, it would still hurt your head. It would push on your head here, and then you have this pushing on your head here. So.
And when you're flying, you almost all the time need sunglasses.
Yeah.
That was a sticking point, was we could not find glasses. And we were watching something, I think on YouTube, and we saw Flying Eyes. Flying Eyes Optics is a company that makes dedicated sunglasses for motorcycle helmets and especially aviation. And I bought a pair then about 2.5 years ago. I was like, these are awesome. They are hands down the best sunglasses that I've ever worn. Love them both in the cockpit and out of the cockpit. And now they're a sponsor of the channel. You can use our coupon code. You can save 10%. So put the coupon code on the bottom here. You can use the link in the description. You'll save 10%. These are the Kestrels. You can spec out your frame color. You can spec out your lens color. You can get them in reading glasses. You can get them in prescription. Those are called Nocturas. I also have the Ospreys. Because they're such lightweight glasses, they mold to your head. So your headset does not become painful. We've worn these for about a 5-hour trip. You don't feel anything. Our previous sunglasses, I had to always wear like this in order to not have the ANR and not have the pain. Super lightweight. Sometimes I drop them. They never get damaged. They are super indestructible, and they're extremely flexible. If you sit on them, nothing's going to happen. But high quality. Love these things. Try them out. Now back to our other flight.
If you like what you see, please like the video. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to our channel, Elevate.